Good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Lilia McEnany, and I am an assistant curator at the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture Laboratory of Anthropology. And as you all know, we are here today to chat with David Naranjo. So a few things before we get started. To begin, I would like to briefly acknowledge the place where this conversation is happening, even though we are in a virtual space and not physically at the museum today, in Ogopoge within the Tewa world. As a non-native person living in so-called Santa Fe, I am a guest in the ancestral homelands of the Tewa people, and I wish to acknowledge all of the indigenous communities, Pueblo, Navajo, Apache, and so many others, past, present, and future, who walk on these lands and steward this place. And I would encourage everybody watching here today to also reflect on the lands on which you reside and occupy. So some Zoom housekeeping, I think you all know the deal by now, but during the course of the presentation, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat. I will be moderating questions towards the end of the session. So for those of you who do not know, the Goodman Aspiring Artist Fellowship was established at MIAC by Dr. and Mrs. Connie Goodman, who are members, friends, and wonderful supporters of the museum. The fellowship is designed to provide financial assistance to up-and-coming Native artists who show promise and are eager to move forward in the next level of their development. Goodman Fellowships have often opened doors to other opportunities for recipients, such as artist residencies at the School for Advanced Research or the Santa Fe Art Institute, invitations to markets, as well as gallery and museum exhibitions. So this program with David is the 8th in our lecture series with the Goodman Fellows, and we will be continuing in January with Raphael Begay. Recordings of each of these events are available on our YouTube channel, and these conversations, like I said, will continue on a monthly basis into next year, generally on the fourth Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. So as always, watch MIAC's newsletter and social media for future dates and program information. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to David.
Good morning, everybody. First off, I'd like to extend my deepest appreciation to the Goodmans for giving me the opportunity to continue to learn, harness, and develop my artistic abilities. I'd also like to extend my deepest appreciation to Rob Lucas, Angela Crispin, Ms. Martinez for giving me a chance to, be a part of this awesome, prestigious organization. So yeah, I guess we'll get started. My name is Hummingbird, or David Naranjo. I come from the Pueblos of Santa Clara, San Juan, and Cochiti. However, I do have lineages to the Diné and Spanish as well. So I'm a contemporary Native artist based here in Santa Fe, otherwise known as Ogapoya Owinge, White Shell Water Place. I'm from Santa Clara, Kapo Owinge, San Juan, Oke Owinge, Cochiti, Kutime, Navajo, Diné, Spanish. I received my BFA at the Institute of American Indian Arts in 2018 with a focus in digital art. My first focus, however, was jewelry, but going to the Institute of American Indian Arts really expanded my idea of what Pueblo art could be, what it can be. And so I really branched out into other avenues of creating work, and took interest in digital art. So for my senior exhibition, it was back in 2007, and was extended all the way into 2018. And my work primarily consisted of painting, digital art, and printmaking. And you can see a little bit of the exhibit here. Again, I named my exhibit White Shell Water Place because I felt it's most appropriate to name it as such, since we are presenting on here in Santa Fe, White Shell Water Place. So for my paintings, I not only did acrylic, but I also included oil-based paint. I like to work with pottery designs, embroidery designs, um, and really utilizing the meaning and intent behind these designs to create, meaning within each piece. So for the Pueblo and Textile embroidery series, it consists of 5 panels. And on the bottom here is the Nimbus Choco series, which consists of 9 panels, and some of which include micaceous iron oxide, which is a mineral pigment that has a little bit of microflakes. So again, since I'm dealing with pottery designs, I want to incorporate, some mineral associated with these designs to have more of an impact in them as well. So the other work I did for my senior exhibition was to incorporate some digital aspects, which include these headdresses. I created the overall design on Adobe Illustrator, which took a considerable amount of time, not gonna lie. And then I was able to utilize a laser etching machine to cut out specific areas of the design to where it would create, a headdress. And then I would basically take these panels and then glue them accordingly so that they would make, one solid piece as opposed to, having them separate. So for the reversible laser etched headdress, this one here is specifically for the corn dance. As you see in the middle here, you have your corn stalks accentuated with the rainbow striping. Here you have a flower blossom with a rain at the end. And this is also a Kiva Step cloud design that is portrayed heavily in my work because as Pueblo people, rain and water, moisture, precipitation is something that we sing, dance, and pray for. And so, these designs that are inclusive of, clouds, water, precipitation are reflected heavily in my work to emphasize, the importance of water and our connection with it. And so, yeah, this next headdress was a little bit more elaborate, and it's I made this specifically for the cloud dance, and it's a reversible. It's also laser etched, and what's the cool thing about it is I made the middle fan removable, so you can really see, the negative spaces in it once you take the fan out, and possibly you can put a real turkey fan in there as well. But the whole idea of incorporating this into my senior project is to combine traditional Puebloan aesthetics and digital tech to create, adapt, and ultimately preserve our cultural beliefs. We live in a world where it's always evolving, and our culture needs to do the same in a way or it will not survive. So by utilizing what we have today can help us save what we cherish, what we cherish. So for my printing portion of the senior exhibition, I wanted to again utilize modern tech by creating the overall design on Adobe Illustrator. And then again, utilizing the laser etching machine to etch into linoleum blocks to get these really, precise lines that I wouldn't be able to achieve if I were to be doing it by hand. So yeah, that laser etching machine really came in handy to get these really nice, crisp lines. And so for the first printing portion is this piece. It's looking at a pottery from a bird's eye perspective, showcasing and emulating the overall design as opposed to seeing a portion of the design as if you were looking at, an actual piece of pottery. So yeah, this is kind of like what I wanted to, portray is the overall design as opposed to the portion, only a portion of the design. Here is another print that I incorporated within my senior exhibition. It's a 9x12. It was inspired by Maria Martinez, as well as a work from my family members who do black on black pottery, and utilize this specific design within their work. So it was a way to pay homage to them, but also pay respects to one of the greatest potters here in New Mexico. Yeah, so it's a repeated eagle tail feather design. And again, it's looked at from a bird's eye perspective, so you can see the overall design, its ornate quality, but also the importance of eagle feathers within the traditional setting as well. Here I have another print that I created also on Adobe Illustrator, utilize the laser etching machine. And these are, again, linoleum block prints, which are usually done by hand. It takes a lot of time and patience to, carve into the linoleum, but again, I utilize the laser etching machine to get these really, nice lines. And so this one I called the, it's a compilation of both the northern and southern pottery designs into one print. And again, showcasing it from a bird's eye perspective. Here, this first design is a parrot. You can kind of see, or like two reciprocating parrots. You see one beak here, another beak here, the eye, accentuated with the Kiva stair step cloud motif. Here you have other small birds, or like bird heads. You have the mouth here, two eyes. They're like the little hatchlings, I guess you can say. Here is another design that's usually portrayed on mantas or wages, what the women wear during, what the women and men wear during, traditional dances and such. It's embellished with on their kilts or on their dresses, and it's a symbol of a cloud, blowing in the wind, kind of a stratus cloud. And here you have little circles, and in this instance, they are springs. So again, you have designs that reflect moisture, water, clouds, precipitation, just to reinforce its importance to not only the Pueblo people, but all people who reside here in Santa Fe. And then here, a lot of people portray this design as feathers, clouds. And the really cool thing about Puebloan pottery designs is that they can have multiple meanings based on how you perceive it, I guess how you can say. Yeah, like one design could have like one specific meaning, but if you belong to certain clans or societies, it might take on a whole different new meaning. Yeah, there's a lot of esoteric knowledge that's deeply woven within some of these designs and iconography. Here, if you can look at the cursor, is a butterfly design. You have the wings here, you have the body, and then little antennae here. And then this design here at the bottom is of the print that I previously shown. And again, it's just a compilation of both the northern and southern Pueblos to pay respects to my lineages from both the Tewa and Karasin communities. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. So this print was again taking a look at line work and how it's reflected in Puebloan pottery designs. Lines represent trails, pathways that were essential for migration, trade, as well as pilgrimages to Chaco Canyon. Our Pueblo communities all have trails, pathways that lead to Chaco Canyon, which was the cultural trading hub, way back then. It was a place, to share ideas, knowledge, academics, culture. That's where you have, sharing of these different symbols and iconography as well. And so here specifically, these lines, for me, represent, the pilgrimages, trade routes that were essential for communication between our communities. And also what I incorporated into my senior exhibition were these large glass panels that I was able to laser etch. So it's taking the original design that I created from Adobe Illustrator and then kind of blew it up to where it would fit this 18 by 24 platform. And so as a result, you get this really clean frosted glass panel look of the print that you see on the left hand side. Well, I guess it's your right hand side. But yeah, and this is how it looks. Yeah, this is how it looks during the senior exhibitions, where you have the original prints here in the middle, and then the glass panels either on the top or on the bottom. And then these pieces, the red, the red print, or the red prints, they're the shattered version of the prints. So just like how Pueblo people, when you break, well, when you, I'm not sure if I could really go into the importance of, the shattering of pottery, but, to just to have that, aspect incorporated into my work, this is one of the ways I can kind of show the, it's not a shattering of the pottery. This is a shattering of the print. So, and what it's kind of hard to explain, but when you shatter something, it makes it unusable for the living. So this was actually, yeah, I can't really explain that. But the Poe Exhibition, I was able to do this exhibition in 2008 after the senior exhibition. I met Carl Duncan at my senior exhibition, and we talked about the possibility of showing work along with Claver Garcia, who also graduated along I think there was 6 of us that year. And I was allowed to show some of my pieces in my senior exhibition, along with some new pieces. So some of the new pieces that I've done were the sash designs on the outer flanks here, as well as the wage, a men's kilt, accentuated with, more detailed wage of a men's kilt, flanking that. So yeah, I showed work along with Claver Garcia. I never really visited the Poe Center, so this was a really unique opportunity to not only see what they have there in terms of, all the toys, like they have studio for jewelry, sculpture, textiles, painting. I think they even do like weaving, which is awesome. So I got to see all the, awesome studios that they had there. So again, this was my first time showcasing or showing some new paintings, as well as my first time showcasing gear from Khohay Apparel. And so this ultimately led to the Pueblo Pathways Fashion Show in 2012. So yeah, just some work that I showed there was the Pueblo Textile Embroidery series, which you see here, as well as the Watershed acrylic piece. That was a mural during the senior exhibition, but had to be painted over. So I was kind of bummed about that, but I decided to do a whole new painting based on that design. So again, at the Poe Exhibition, I was able to showcase the Mimbres Chaco series polyptych piece that that I showed during my senior exhibition. And here is a little, a detailed picture of the piece. And it's pretty large. It's 9 panels, as I previously said. So it was kind of hard to capture it, in one single shot. So I kind of had to puzzle these together to make one overall shot. But here, again, are designs that are heavily reflected within Mimbres and Chaco pottery, as well as, line work that is also utilized in Puebloan pottery. And so, yeah, it was my first time showcasing Khohay Apparel. It's something that I've been working on for a while. Back in 2015, it first started as an idea, did preliminary drawings, and then it wasn't until where family members were interested in, possibly having a shirt, or, friends were like always wanting tattoo designs. And so slowly I started finding manufacturers, looking at, companies that are able to print these out for me. And that's the hard thing, is finding, a manufacturer who can do this. And like I don't have any equipment right now to do this myself. So having to rely on manufacturers is kind of a pain. But here I have my friends Cheyenne Brandt and Keisha Edwards modeling the Mimbres shirt and leggings. Here's Cheyenne Brandt modeling the Mimbres shirt and the leggings. And if you see on the left side, or on the right side of Cheyenne, you see this painting here, and it's actually that design that she's wearing. And the Povika flower leaf crop top crop top and leggings is being rocked by Miss Keisha Edwards. I also did a couple of shawls that my wonderful mother is modeling here, called Povika flower leaf. It's a 50 by 50 shawl, um, again, that I created on Adobe Illustrator, and basically used the manufacturer's software to be able to put it onto um, like a predetermined layout. And once I decide the placement is right, it's just a matter of pressing order, and I crisscross my fingers to make sure that the design is clean, crisp, that there's no pixelation in it. Um, and so, yeah, that process can also be a pain because, you wait for, a couple of weeks for the item to come in. And if it doesn't meet your expectations, it's just a matter of doing it all over again. And it's until you get it right. And it does take a considerable amount of time. And so the pictures here were done at the Poe Center during the exhibition that I had there with Claver Garcia. So again, Khohay Apparel, it's back in initially 2015, but in 2016 is where I really started to get serious. And ultimately, I wanted to incorporate this into my senior exhibitions, but I just felt that I already had too much information. I had limited amount of space. So showcasing it at the Poe Center was a really unique opportunity because it allowed me to present these pieces that I didn't showcase during my senior exhibitions. And so, again, it first started from friends and family who wanted a gear, a shirt, tattoos. But, tattoos is kind of a taboo subject within, Pueblo communities, especially if you're male and you're an active participant within the cultural setting, or if you belong to certain clanships, societies. There are reasons why tattoos can be a bad thing. But also I heard that when you come into this world whole, you also leave this world the same way. And I've always wanted tattoos as well, but I could always hear my grandmother's voice in the back of my head, like always gonna scold me or something for doing it. But the reason why I don't have tattoos is if I were to ever be or asked to be or to do a specific thing, then I'd be ready. But in 2016, I started to find manufacturers who are able to produce the product as well as do everything from tracking and shipping, which is cool because on my end, and during this time, I was starting to create pieces for my senior exhibition. And I wanted to dedicate as much time that I could to that. And so I found a couple of manufacturers who were able to drop ship. And drop shipping is basically they do everything from the printing or like from sewing, production, to marketing, and then shipping out your products. So it was easy for me at that time to do that just because I didn't have the money or supplies to do that myself. So drop shipping with other manufacturers really helped me get these designs out there. And then in 2018 is where I really wanted to build a website, but just because my original website wasn't that up to my standards, you can say. So I decided to go with Shopify, and their platform is kind of confusing, but it's pretty amazing what it's capable of doing. And so, yeah, my mission statement or a part of my mission statement for Khohay Apparel is again integrating symbols and iconography on apparel, so that in a way you become the vessel, carrying and embodying those traditional cultural teachings, value systems with you, whether you're working out, or running on the trails. My hope is that you will incorporate the power and integrity of these designs into your own holistic approach of self-betterment, and what it means to be a good neighbor relative here in the Southwest. And so again, these designs reflect trails, pathways, flora, fauna, animals, clouds, water, precipitation, are all inclusive of everything. And so while you're wearing Khohay apparel, my whole idea is that you would incorporate again the power and integrity of these designs into your own holistic approach, whatever that may be. And yeah, what really struck me too was I was watching TED Talks, and I stumbled upon a Jessica Metcalf presentation, and what she said during that presentation really stuck with me. And the act of fashioning oneself goes beyond the utilitarian and into the realm of symbolic significance. And I was like, whoa, like that really says volumes in terms of really how I want my work to be shown and felt in a way. So again, my designs reflect flowers, pathways, water, clouds, and such. My journey with Khohay ignited with, or really started to pick up, was after the hip hop arts fashion show that was created by Nathaniel Fuentes and Alicia Littlebear. And I was just fortunate to be a part of this fashion show. It was my first time presenting this work to an actual audience. So I was really nervous, but very grateful in a way. My designs were also featured in the New Mexico magazine. Was also featured in the Santa Fean. Thank you, Juanita Toledo. And yeah, like I couldn't really do this without the help of friends, because they're really instrumental in helping me elevate this business into something that initially was small, and eventually built up into getting recognition, and which is awesome, which is like these small affirmation or confirmations that this business could be feasible. And then in late 2019, the pandemic hit. And I had to take some losses. Basically, I had to stop production because manufacturers that I was working with also had to stop, their day-to-day operations as a result of the pandemic. Some manufacturers even went out of business, which led me to discontinue some of my products, which include this tank top here, modeled by Christian Gehring, awesome guy, and Pueblo runner. Check him out, he's dope. As well as the jacket below are some of the products that I had to discontinue as a result of businesses going out of business. So yeah, I had to take some losses, stop production for a little bit, and it really was considering if I should continue with Khohay, but it wasn't until they lifted some of the restrictions here in New Mexico, which led to the Indian market being open for 2020-21 season, I guess you can say. But during Indian market, there was this Pathways fashion show that was sponsored by the Poe Center. And so I saw this as an opportunity to bounce back. Again, I was kind of bummed out because I thought that this business wasn't going to work out. Manufacturers that I previously worked with went out of business, and yeah, kind of hit a low point. But you really have to shift your mentality, your perspective, and instead of thinking about the negatives, you really have to think about the positives. It's businesses have has shut down, but it's also an opportunity to make new relationships with manufacturers, not an opportunity to bounce back. And so kind of had to change my perspective, my mentality, to make sure that Khohay wouldn't go under. I really wanted to hold strong. And during the Pathways fashion show, it really picked up from there. So I'm really grateful for that as well. So this leads me to Singular Couture. So back in 2017, I collaborated with artist and owner Sarah, who did these really cool silk jackets here in Santa Fe. And first initially, or like how I met her, was through Nicona Burgess. He sent out an email to a couple of us students at IAIA to see if we would be interested in possibly collaborating with Sarah in a couple of projects that she had going on. So initially I didn't want to go because at the time I was concentrating on my senior exhibitions. I was working on the polyiptych pieces, the digital part of my senior exhibition, and felt a little overwhelmed at that time, just because of the amount of pressure that I was just putting on myself. But I decided to just go and see what this meeting was about, and I ended up really being inspired by a piece by Lauren Humyeptawa, a jacket that Sarah brought to the meeting, and it was a kind of like a Nampeyo type of design displayed on these jackets, and it's a work in the round too. So it's not flat. It's something that you could wear as well, and so that really took interest in me. I was really interested because of Khohay Apparel and what I was doing with that, and so I felt that by collaborating with Sarah, it would reinforce my decision to pursue putting designs on clothing, apparel, gear. So yeah. So again, these are hand painted silk jackets on a variety of types of silk, which includes shantung silk, dupioni, cotton blend, silk. And at first, silk is a nice material, something that I wouldn't want to mess up, or yeah, like it's a very delicate, fabric. So I was a little hesitant at first to even apply paint. It was just like one of those instances of, like where to first begin, where to first start. But slowly I started to get comfortable working with silk and the paint, and ultimately had my first group show with Anthony Jachu and Lauren Humiepto, who are all awesome artists that I would really like you guys to check out. But it was not only that group show, but I was also able to do a contemporary tradition solo show, which was awesome because not only was I able to showcase these designs, but I was able to add some of my printing linoleum block prints onto some of these jackets as well too. So I thought that was awesome. So I was also featured in the Local Flavors August issue, as well as the Surface Design magazine. So again, these are, confirmations that what I about, what I was doing was, generally going in the right direction. So yeah, it was just awesome to, be able to do this and be a part of Sarah's Singular Couture. I actually worked for her as well as a salesman and a seamstress. Well, not seamstress, but the male version of that, cutting out the designs or cutting out the panels so that they can ultimately be sewn up into a uniform coat. So here are just some of the jackets that I have done in the past, which include Ohuaping Cloud Mountain. It's this piece here. And that also, I added my mica flakes, micaceous iron oxide into that as well. Again, to incorporate, since these are pottery designs, I'd want to actually have some sort of, mineral in there to reinforce, that as well. So yeah, here you have a Pota marked trail, Ogoyo Huiri, scattered stars. And these are all, well, some of these pictures were done at the Haines Red Rocks, as well as on newly built gymnasium. Again, here are some of my works of Puebloan pottery designs and iconography, hand painted on silk, moving butterflies, Buganini Ion, spring flowers, Bing Mountains, Mount Baldy Lake. You have dragonflies with stars, more mountains here. So yeah, I really appreciated working with Sarah, and just her trust in me in completing some of these pieces was, again, just confirmations that what I was doing, again, going in the right direction. Here, again, you have more pieces that I've done in the past, modeled by Juanita Toledo from Hamas. And down here too, on your right-hand side, I guess, are some customers who purchased some of my jackets, as well as Marla Allison's jacket as well. So, it was my first time meeting Marla Allison. I got to hear and see what she was about. She's awesome artist too. Really grateful to, again, have pieces presented along with some of these, what I would consider, our big time artists, some of the OGs, I would say. So yeah. And then back in 2019, I was contacted by Jason Garcia to see if I would be interested in an apprenticeship with Native Arts and Culture Foundation. And so, I'm a huge fan of Jason Garcia's work. And I saw this as, an opportunity to continue to learn, harness, develop ideas and artistic abilities under, the master himself, Jason Garcia. So one of the, so we went to Minnesota for a workshop to, I guess, get a brief overview of what Native Arts and Cultures Foundation is about, what these apprenticeships include. And one of the projects was to collaborate on was to do some sort of collaboration, as well as showcase in an exhibit. So the first collaboration we did was painting a room at Nativa Lodge in Albuquerque. Back in 2019, we also did painted skate decks for Pivot exhibit at Diné College, and I believe that one was in 2018. And that was my first kind of introduction to, working with skateboards, as well as, getting to know Dwayne Landis-Bahi and the rest of the amazing curators that are associated with Pivot exhibit. I'm really fortunate to be, part of Native Arts and Cultures apprenticeship with Jason, because it has really allowed me to travel and meet other Native artists from across the nation. We, at the end of the program, the mentees all got together, and we all actually went to Oregon with this program called Artist Intense, and we visited various ecoregions of Oregon, visited some of the indigenous people there. It was an awesome time just to be amongst other artists, to hear what they were doing. And everybody has, no one's the same. Everybody is doing their own unique form of art. And again, like, there's truth and merit in what artists do. It's carrying on the traditional legacy of our culture, basically. So there's a lot of truth and merit to being an artist. So here are a couple of pictures I have of Nativa Lodge, of some of the murals, I guess you can say, that we did there. Here you have, so before I talk about some of these pieces, Jason Garcia was adamant about having his room, or this room, reflecting or the view towards the Sandia Mountains, otherwise known as Okuping, which is his native name. So it is most appropriate, to have a room looking towards the Sandias or Turtle Mountain as it is. So yeah, this piece here is of, here you have the summer corn dance, as well as the buffalo dance down here, depicted on, I guess you could say, the south wall in the room. Here you have one of, let's see if I can move this. One of Jason Garcia's recognizable corn maiden pieces, looking at a sprinkler, kind of like, what, and it's his take on, the commodification of water. Again, here in the Southwest, Pueblo communities, water is something that we sing, dance, and pray for. And to have, water readily available is fairly weird, you can say. So you can see the expression on her face, as well as her hand, like that. Looking at the sprinkler kind of speaks volumes to how water is easily accessible here, but should not be taken for granted. Here this is a couple of designs that I did on the lower right hand side of rainbirds. Here, this side is an eagle, and on the other side is a hummingbird. So it's kind of a reflection between mentor and mentee in these designs. Here, this piece below is just the mural of the buffalo dancers. I just wanted to show the amount of detail, line work that went into going on there. And then again, last picture is us hard at work or hardly working. Just kidding. Just we're hard workers. So here, I was able to visit Jason Garcia at his studio. I got to see, the process of, some of the processes of how he's able to complete some of his prints, which takes a considerable amount of time, patience, and there's a lot of, steps that goes into what I would say is a simple print, but is actually takes, let me just play this video. So Jason Garcia actually pulls or does these, his cloud designs, cumulus, cloud design, in a series of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, which is, a lot of work to produce this print. And so looking at this one here, that's even more steps in order to complete, a piece of that magnitude. And so I was just really blown away by the amount of diligence I would say that Jason has to create his work. You really have to build up a lot of patience as well. But yeah, when I was visiting his studio, we were working with ruby lithography. And so after showing me, his process of the cloud design, he basically was like, now you do it. And I was like what? Like, you just barely showed me. But that just proved to me the amount of trust and confidence that he had in me to, do one of these ruby liths. So I was really happy about that. So it didn't take us very long to pull these out. But I would say it took about 4 hours to create this ruby lith. First, I had to draw it out, and then it's a matter of cutting it out with an X-Acto blade to get this really cool, like positive and negative ruby lith that you can then use for printing, or in this case, screen printing. And then here on the bottom in the middle, you see the completed version of this ruby lith here. And then here's just Jason Garcia looking over my piece, making sure, just I think right here he's specifically telling or showing me how to take out some of the portions so that you have the positive and negative space in order to create your design. So I was very grateful to have that unique opportunity with Jason. And so next, this leads me to FarahNheight Fine Art Gallery. I have nothing but good things to say about Gregory and his gallery, because we first talked on Instagram, and he was really interested in showcasing my work. Just the amount of energy that he has is kind of overwhelming, but he's just a great dude. He wants to see you succeed. He'll do everything in his power to show your work. He's just overall all around a great guy. We first met on Instagram, which ultimately led me to meet with him up in Taos when he had his gallery up there at the time, and talked about a possibility of showing some paintings, skate decks, those headdresses, prints, and any other work that I had. I had the opportunity to show work along with some pretty notable artists, again, who I would consider notable artists. I got to meet a lot of cool people as well. So I got to show some work at La Fonda events, Sovereign events, some during Indian Market, others during the pandemic, which I was grateful when restrictions were lifted, obviously. But just whenever he has something going on, he always wants to include some of my work. So I'm super grateful for that as well. So some of my pieces that he has is the Tsehueng, or eagle tail, which is again a design that was heavily influenced by Maria Martinez Popovi, as well as family members on my mother's side who do black on black pottery, again to pay respects to them, pay respects to Maria Martinez. So I decided to do the eagle tail design accentuated with the flower blossom here. And like the prints, this design is actually, again, from a bird's eye perspective, showcasing and emulating the overall design, as opposed to seeing a portion of the design as if you're looking at a real piece of pottery. And this also has micaceous iron oxide. So when you look at it, it has this very scintillating effect, where it's like shimmering, sparkling in the sun. So I thought that was pretty cool, because again, I'm utilizing and incorporating Puebloan motifs, symbols, iconography into my work. So I thought it would be most appropriate to add mica, or some type of mineral pigment to add to that. So down here is a Puebloan manta with flower blossoms. The mantas is what the women wear during traditional cultural dances. And the designs itself are very intricate and also have meaning and intent within a cultural setting too. So here the line work actually resembles water. Here you have these triangle patterns that actually represent rain. Here you have your rainbow band. And then really there's a lot of information in here. And again, esoteric knowledge that is deeply woven within the cultural fabric of our designs, of our dances and such. So yeah, so you have flower blossoms here, and this whole design here would be called the cloud house. And yeah, like I have explanations on my Instagram as well that delves deeply into the meaning and purpose of some of these designs too. Over here, I'm pictured on the right hand side. I'm holding one of my skateboards. I'm all giddy. I'm pretty happy because La Fonda actually purchased one of my previous skate decks called Ojua, or Clouds skate deck. And it's showcased along with Tony Abeda's skate deck, Diego Romero's Avanyu skate deck, Stephen Paul Judd, who is an awesome artist as well. George Alexander, he's, I consider him an OG artist. And yeah, these are big time artists, and I have a piece showcased alongside them. And these are like small victories, or again confirmations that my work literally is being showcased with these prestigious artists. So I'm really grateful to even be a part of that. Let's see. So these next paintings here are also available at FarahNheight Gallery. And I all decided to name my paintings in Tewa because I'm also learning the Tewa language, and the more I familiarize myself with Tewa words, phrases, the more it would be, the more I'm kind of, I guess you can say, familiarize myself with them. Can't talk today. So this first painting, Makua, or otherwise known as Heavens, it's a 3x4 foot painting piece made out of acrylic and oil-based paint. And most of my paintings too kind of have this reciprocating fashion to portray, the above and below, zenith, nadir, and how it's heavily reflected within, Puebloan teachings, beliefs, as well as, the cardinal directions. Not only do we have, north, south, west, east, but we have, above and below. And so in order to portray the zenith and nadir, I decided to have this kind of reciprocating factor into some of my work. And so yeah, it doesn't matter which way you put it, portrait view, it's always going to be, the same design. So this next painting is Quakeway, Strong Rain. You have these cloud designs accentuated with the stair step or kiva step patterning with serrated lines to represent rain. Here you have a stratus cloud accentuated with the T design. And this I got from some of the structures out in Chaco where the doorways actually have this unique, T structure, but also create, the kiva step stair pattern as well. So I also wanted to incorporate that in my paintings too. And so these bold serrated lines here are actually to represent rainfall. This is the two lines here are like my interpretation of a rainbow band, which is reflected on headdresses as well. You have the reciprocating eagle tail feather in the middle of the painting, and then that design is then repeated on the bottom as well. And then this next painting, Ojo Nuhu Kwan, Dark Rain Clouds, is basically I wouldn't say the same, but it still has some recognizable designs and features that Quakeway Strong Rain had with the kiva stair step pattern, bisected with a water line. Here you have a cumulus cloud with a stratus cloud with serrated lines to depict falling rain. Here is again utilizing the stratus cloud bisected with a water line to create a negative space here, which creates flower petals too. So it's utilizing both positive and negative space to create and utilizing iconography and designs to create another design, which ultimately is the flower petals here. And then the migration symbol accentuated with the again kiva stair step cloud symbol. Here you have serrated lines to depict water, moisture, rainfall. And then again you have your rainbow line here, which is then repeated on the opposite side of the painting. There we go. Here are some of my smaller pieces. Ojo Kwan, Rain Cloud number 2. Is a textured piece. And this piece I was really inspired by some of the work that I saw at the Chaco Gallery in Albuquerque, where this is a cloud design with serrated lines that represent rain. So again, these designs are mostly about water, rain, or clouds, just to again stress the importance of water and how we integrate its various forms within, Puebloan symbols and iconography. So this piece here in the middle is Untitled, but it's of an old embroidery piece that was by well, it was a book. It was a book that I found by H.P. Mera, and it shows these really elaborate decorative textile pieces, and so I wanted to kind of add some of these designs into a composition, while keeping the integrity intact, but I didn't really know a whole lot of information about this specific design, so I had to name it Untitled. But you can see, the migration symbol here, some lines that I would kind of say that this is about, not only about trails, but, a prayer for moisture too. This next painting here, Takits e Fufo, Preparation Eagle Feather, is made out of acrylic oil-based paint. Again, just to stress the importance of, eagle feathers and its use within a cultural setting. Here you have, again, the bold serrated lines to reflect rainfall. Again, utilizing the eagle feather design here with the stratus and Kiva stair step cloud symbol here, accentuated with circles that in this instance are springs or water accumulation. And then in the middle here you have like the reciprocated version of the eagle feather design as well in the middle. So these pieces here are, I would say, they're not fairly recent, but they were done this year. So this Untitled #2, I decided to utilize, again, mineral pigments, BE, red ochre, white clay ash, to again bring some of these minerals that are initially utilized for making pottery. But in this instance, I'm using these materials to create a painting. And so here you have the kind of zoomed in version of Untitled #1 of the HP Mira textile design that I saw. And I just basically blew it up into a bigger piece. And I was a little bit reluctant to finish this piece, not because I was lazy or the taping out the designs took forever, but I was really reluctant to finish because of how smell and memory are linked, and how these the red ochre, white clay ash, the smell brought me back to visiting family who make pottery, or brought memories of us dancing in the Pueblo, in the plaza, hearing the men sing, drumming. Even there was a time where I kind of was missing that part of getting together, and basically for feast days. And it brought back memories of my grandmother too. So that's kind of reason why I was a little bit reluctant to finish this piece, is because of the amount of emotion it stirred within myself, and how memory and scent are linked. And when you miss certain times of the year back home, you I guess really want just the smells brought me back to that time of peace, to that time of prayer, basically. So yeah, that piece was actually one of my favorites. Akompovi, this piece here in the middle, is a desert flower. This was one of my favorite pieces to do as well, just because of the amount of symmetry that I was able to achieve in this painting. So in the middle here, you have your flower blossom. Here you have your stratus cloud. Other people like to associate this designs with feathers. or a leaf. But here, in this instance, I like to portray it as a stratus cloud bisected with the waterline here. And then the space here actually is the petal of the flower. So you have here is the north petal, the east petal, the south petal, and then the west. Again, made up with the stratus cloud bisected with the waterline. And so the more, I guess you can say, the more the patterning grows, the more elaborate the flower actually gets. And so you see more water lines. Here you have, again, stratus cloud. Here you have the actual petals of the flower. So it's really kind of like, you can kind of, well, it is an abstract depiction of, what I would consider a desert flower. Well, I mean, just thinking about of a rose as well, it's pretty thorn, or like those little goat heads that are on the bottom of your shoe from walking outside here in New Mexico, are pointy. So you have some areas of the design that reflect that as well. And again, you have these lines here at the bottom and top, which in my case are rainbow bands, or the rainbow bands that are reflected on the headdresses too. So yeah, that's basically what that painting is about. Kwanitsire, a number 2 rainbird. This is a design that took me quite a while to achieve, but I personalized it a little bit because you don't see this bird design anywhere. So it's kind of like one of my creations, I guess you can say. But here you have a bird head, and then on the opposite side is a bird head too, accentuated with circles. And here you have, in this column, you have 6 circles to represent the 6 directions. Here you have, a small body of the bird, the head's right here, with rainbow bands. You have reciprocating eagle feathers here in the middle. And then I decided to just repeat this design to reinforce its importance. And then on the outer flanks are cloud, feather, water designs that are all, in this case, important because this painting is a prayer for rain. So it'd be most appropriate to have, designs associated with water, clouds, or, even feathers, birds. Most notably, the eagle acts as the intermediary between us and Makua, the heavens. So yeah, there's a lot of information, a lot of iconography that have meaning and associations to the sky, water, clouds, and is a prayer for rain. And that takes me, I think I'm done.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, David, for sharing so much about your artistic trajectory. I really love the way it was organized, from going from your show at IA with the linoleum block prints all the way up to the development of Khohay Apparel and now what you're working on. Also, I'm a huge Jason fan as well, so it's always fun to hear about his collaborations with different folks, and what an incredible treat to be able to have hands-on work with him.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So We are a bit over our time, and I don't see any questions in the chat right now, but I just want to thank you again for a really fabulous presentation. I would love to have you back again so we can dive into a lot of this more and hear more about all the wonderful work that you are doing. So thank you again for being here and for spending your morning with the museum. And everybody have a great rest of your day.